The observatory was silent, except for the faint hum of machines. High above Earth, the night sky stretched endlessly, glittering with stars that seemed calm and distant. Dr. Lena Moore sat at her console, her eyes scanning the streams of data from the deep space sensors. She had worked here for years, but tonight something was different. The numbers didn't lie. A signal, strong, precise, and unearthly, was coming from the edge of the galaxy. "Are you seeing this?" Lena whispered, hardly daring to breathe. Her assistant, Raj, leaned over the console. His brow furrowed. "It looks like coordinates. But this pattern, it's not natural. It's deliberate." Lena's heart skipped a beat. The galaxy had spoken, but not to humans. Not yet. Somehow, Earth had intercepted a message meant for someone else. But humans had a habit of reaching where no one expected. The room buzzed as other scientists crowded around. Screens flickered with alien patterns and strange symbols. The signal repeated over and over, almost like a call. And then, a warning embedded in the rhythm, a code that chilled the team to the bone. This is not for us," said Dr. Chen, the lead astrophysicist, voice trembling. "It's a warning. Whoever this is, they know we exist, but they don't want us involved." Raj shook his head. "Maybe. Or maybe they think we're too weak to respond." Lena stared at the screen, her mind racing. Humans had always faced the impossible. And somehow, she knew, the impossible was exactly what they were meant for. In a matter of hours, news of the signal reached global leaders. Panic and excitement spread simultaneously. Military councils argued. Scientists debated. Media outlets buzzed with speculation. Yet, the most important question remained: should Earth respond? Lena sat in a small, windowless briefing room, surrounded by the team. They were chosen not because they were the best, but because they believed humanity could rise to the challenge. "Think about it," Lena said. "If we ignore this, we stay hidden. If we respond, we take a chance. But humans don't run from a challenge. We see it and we act. Always." A young engineer, Mara, spoke up nervously. "But what if they're dangerous? What if answering invites trouble?" "That's exactly why we have to answer," Lena replied firmly. "Danger doesn't define us. How we respond does." Plans were drawn quickly. Using existing satellite arrays, Earth would send a response, a simple beacon of acknowledgement. But as the team worked, strange phenomena began to appear in the night sky. Shooting stars that didn't follow normal paths, flashes of light that pulsed rhythmically, almost like signals themselves. People around the world noticed, but no one understood. Then, at the observatory, the signal changed. The patterns grew more complex, almost conversational, as if the galaxy itself were testing them. Lena leaned closer, reading the symbols. They were coordinates, yes, but also instructions. It wasn't just a call, it was a challenge. "We're being watched," whispered Raj, eyes wide. Someone, is waiting for us to make a move." The world waited as the first human-made response was sent. A pulse of light shot toward the unknown, carrying Earth's first message into the void. No one knew what would happen next. The silence afterward was unbearable. 4 minutes, hours, nothing. Then, a reply arrived, brief, cryptic, and impossible to ignore. Lena read the message aloud. "You are here. You should not be." The room went silent. Every scientist, every official, felt the weight of the words. Humanity had answered a call it was not meant to answer. The galaxy had noticed. Somewhere far away, alien eyes, if they existed, had turned toward Earth. And humans, small, fragile, and stubborn, were about to prove that courage didn't come from size or strength. It came from the refusal to back down, from the audacity to act when everyone else hesitated. Weeks passed, and humanity prepared. The first interstellar ship capable of following the coordinates was being constructed. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly, knowing time was precious. Meanwhile, the world outside continued its ordinary routines, oblivious to the danger and the wonder that approached from the stars. Lena stood one evening at the observatory's balcony, staring at the night sky. A shooting star blazed across the horizon, brighter than any she had ever seen. She felt a shiver run down her spine. This was only the beginning. The galaxy had sent a message, and humans had responded. It was reckless. It was bold. And it was exactly who they were. Somewhere out there, a decision was being made. Somewhere beyond the stars, watchers waited to see what humans would do next. Would they succeed, fail, or create something no one, not even the galaxy itself, could predict? For Lena, the answer was simple. Humans never gave up. Humans never ran from the unknown. And whatever came next, they would face it head-on. Because the galaxy's call wasn't for Earth, yet humans had responded anyway. The construction of the interstellar ship was unlike anything Earth had attempted before. Towering cranes moved with careful precision over the massive frame, and engineers darted through corridors lined with blinking lights and humming machinery. The ship, named Odyssey, was humanity's first real step into the galaxy. Its mission was simple in words but impossible in reality. Follow the alien coordinates and find the source of the mysterious signal. Dr. Lena Moore walked along the gleaming metal corridors, her eyes scanning the progress. She was no longer just an observer, she was part of history. Raj followed, carrying a tablet filled with calculations and updates. How soon until launch? Lena asked. 2 weeks, Raj replied, his voice tinged with both excitement and nervousness. But even then, we don't know what we'll face out there. That uncertainty weighed on everyone. The crew had been carefully selected, the best engineers, scientists, and explorers Earth could offer. But no one had ever traveled this far from home. No one had ever left the solar system entirely. And yet, the galaxy had called, and humans had answered. Among the crew was Mara, the young engineer from the observatory, who now oversaw the ship's navigation systems. She had a quiet determination, the kind that only came from a life of solving impossible problems. Her hands flew over controls as she plotted the first course into deep space. The day of departure arrived. Families and officials gathered at the launch facility, their faces a mix of pride and fear. Lena stood beside the crew on the observation deck, staring at Odyssey as it shimmered under the artificial lights. Remember, she said quietly to the team, we don't know who, or what, we'll find. But we're humans. We adapt. We survive. We learn. The engines roared to life, shaking the ground beneath them. Slowly, steadily, Odyssey lifted off, breaking free from Earth's gravity. Cameras followed the ascent, broadcasting the historic moment to the entire planet. Cheers erupted, but within the ship, the crew remained focused. Days passed, and the vast emptiness of space became their constant companion. Stars streaked past in a blur, but the alien coordinates seemed to stretch endlessly ahead. Communication with Earth was delayed by minutes, then hours, leaving the crew in a quiet tension. Every shadow of the cosmos felt like a threat. Then strange phenomena began. Lights flickered in the void, not stars, not comets, but pulsing, moving in patterns almost like messages. The sensors registered bursts of energy, impossible to explain. Mara leaned over the console, frowning. Someone, or something, is out there, she murmured. And it's watching us. Lena nodded grimly. We knew this wouldn't be easy. Stay sharp. The crew continued, but suspicion began to grow among them. Supplies were fine, systems were stable, but small mechanical failures seemed almost deliberate. Tools went missing. Power circuits overloaded. Arguments flared over trivial mistakes. Lena realized fear could be as dangerous as any alien force. One night, while monitoring the long-range sensors, Raj detected a fast-moving object far ahead. Its trajectory matched the alien coordinates almost perfectly. Another ship, he whispered, eyes wide. We're not alone. The crew gathered around the screen, hearts pounding. Lena's mind raced. Whoever was following the same path could be an ally, or a threat. And if it was a threat, They were fast, far faster than humans could have anticipated. Suddenly, a series of lights flared across the ship's hull. Not from weapons, but from some energy field. The ship shook violently. Alarms blared. Mara's fingers flew over the controls. "It's some kind of energy wave," she shouted. "It's not hitting us directly, but it's testing our shields." 4 hours, the ship endured bursts of unknown energy, each one more precise than the last. Lena realized this was no accident. The galaxy had a way of testing its newcomers. It was a trial, an assessment of humanity's resolve. By morning, the bursts ceased. The crew was exhausted but alive. Silence settled in the corridors, broken only by the hum of engines. Lena knew this was just the beginning. Later, as the crew gathered for a rare meal, Mara spoke quietly. "They're watching. And they want to see if we can handle the journey. If we survive, maybe we're worthy of the answer." Lena looked out the viewport at the endless stars. "We'll survive," she said softly, more to herself than to anyone else. "Humans always survive." The ship continued toward the coordinates, navigating through nebulae that shimmered in colors no human had named, past black holes that warped space itself, and through cosmic storms that would have destroyed any ordinary vessel. And always, there was the sense of being followed, being observed, as if some distant intelligence was measuring every decision, every reaction. Days turned into weeks. The crew learned to trust each other, despite their fear. They discovered small wonders, fragments of asteroids that glowed with strange minerals, signals that weren't quite speech but hinted at intelligence, and fleeting shadows that suggested life beyond human understanding. Then, the first real sign of what lay ahead appeared, a structure, massive and impossible, floating silently in the darkness. It was not a planet, not an asteroid. It looked artificial, alien, and terrifyingly empty. The coordinates were nearly there. Lena's heart pounded. "This is it," she said, voice tight with awe and fear. "This is what we were meant to find." The crew stared in silence. The galaxy's call had led them to the edge of the unknown, and humans, stubborn and brave, were about to meet a presence far beyond their comprehension. Somewhere in the void, the Watchers waited. And this time, they would see humanity face the first true test. The alien structure floated silently in the void, massive and impossibly still. Its surface shimmered with a metal unlike anything humans had seen, smooth but etched with patterns that glowed faintly. Lena Moore stared at it from the Odyssey's viewport, her heart pounding. They had reached the coordinates sent by the mysterious signal. And now, for the first time, humanity faced the unknown directly. Mara checked the ship's instruments. "No life signs, at least none that we can detect," she said. "But the structure, it's emitting energy. Something is active inside." Lena nodded. "Prepare the landing shuttle. We go in." Carefully. The crew suited up, tension thick in the air. As they approached the structure, they realized its sheer scale. The shuttle's lights reflected off towers that stretched miles above them, walls engraved with symbols that seemed to shift as they looked. Every crew member felt a strange weight, a mixture of awe and fear, as if the structure itself was aware of their presence. When the shuttle touched down on a landing platform, a faint hum echoed from the walls. Lena took the lead, followed closely by Raj and Mara. Each step on the smooth surface echoed strangely, almost as if the building was amplifying their presence. Inside, the corridors stretched endlessly, lined with alien technology. Panels lit up as they passed, responding to their movement. One of the walls projected a holographic display, a star map, pulsating with the same symbols from the signal. Lena reached out to touch it, and the image shifted, highlighting a distant system near the galaxy's edge. This is a message," Raj whispered. "They knew about us. They marked something important here." Then, a sudden sound cut through the silence, a voice, mechanical but clearly intelligent. Words formed on a glowing panel in simple English: "Humans are not expected. Proceed with caution." Lena froze. "It knows we're here." The voice continued, showing images, stars collapsing, entire civilizations wiped out, and a shadowy figure moving between systems. Humans had never faced anything like this. The message was clear: the galaxy had dangers far beyond their imagination, and Earth's involvement was unusual. Mara pointed to another panel. There's a sequence here. It looks like instructions, or a warning. The display showed coordinates, energy readings, and a set of symbols that seemed to form a puzzle. Lena's mind raced. They want us to understand something. Maybe to survive. We have to figure it out. Hours passed as the team worked through the alien puzzles. Each solution triggered new projections, advanced starship designs, maps of energy flows across the galaxy, and encrypted data about civilizations that had vanished. It was a glimpse into knowledge far beyond humanity's current reach. But with every discovery came unease. Lena felt a growing sense of urgency. This structure wasn't just a monument, it was a test. And the galaxy's message was clear: humans had arrived too early, or perhaps too boldly. Suddenly, the structure shook. Not violently, but enough to make the crew stumble. Lights flickered. A new projection appeared, an enormous shape moving across the galaxy, faster than any human vessel could travel. It was impossible to tell if it was alive or machine, but the energy readings alone were enough to make them step back in awe and fear. This is the threat," Lena said quietly. "It's coming. And it's closer than we thought." Raja's fingers flew across the console, trying to make sense of the data. If it's moving that fast, Earth won't be ready. Nobody will. Mara's eyes widened. Then maybe it's why they sent the coordinates. The warning. The test. They knew someone had to prepare. The walls around them pulsed again. The voice returned: "Persistence is rare. Worthiness, earned." Lena looked at her team. They were exhausted, overwhelmed, and terrified. Yet she saw determination in their eyes. Humanity had never backed down from the impossible, and this moment was no different. "We don't have all the answers," she said. "But we have each other. And we're not leaving until we understand as much as we can." As they explored deeper, they found more artifacts, tools that seemed to manipulate energy directly, holographic records of civilizations lost to time, and fragments of communication that suggested the galaxy had been watching Earth for centuries. Humans were small, fragile, but in the eyes of whatever watched them, they were persistent. Hours turned into a full cycle of the alien structure. The crew mapped every room, decoded every signal they could, and learned more than they had thought possible. Yet the message remained clear: the galaxy had a threat approaching, and humans were not ready. Before leaving, Lena recorded a message back to Earth, detailing what they had found. She knew that sharing too much could cause panic, but humanity had to be informed. They had to prepare. As the shuttle lifted off from the alien platform, the team looked back at the glowing structure. It seemed almost alive, almost judging. Lena felt a chill. This was no ordinary encounter. This was the beginning of something much larger than they could imagine. Somewhere in the shadows of the galaxy, the Watchers observed them. The humans had reached the threshold, proven their courage, and glimpsed a danger that would soon touch every corner of the stars. And the message was clear: humanity's test had only just begun. Weeks after leaving the alien outpost, the Odyssey drifted through the cold emptiness of space. Lena Moore stared out the viewport, trying to make sense of the strange warnings they had received. The galaxy was alive with danger, and now humanity was in the path of something far older and far more powerful than they could imagine. "Sensors are picking up anomalies," Mara reported, her voice tight. "Energy surges, and ships." Lena's heart skipped a beat. Ships? Alien? Yes. Not just one. Several. Approaching human colonies on the edge of our charts. Panic settled over the crew. The colonies, barely established, were thinly defended. Thousands of people depended on Earth's hope, and now an unknown force was moving faster than any human ship. Lena realized the stakes had grown beyond exploration. This was survival. Raj swiveled in his seat. "They're attacking the colonies directly. Shields and defenses are failing. The news hit Earth with the force of a storm. Alerts went out, fleets mobilized, but communication delays made real-time guidance impossible. Lena clenched her fists. Humanity had answered the galaxy's call, and now the galaxy had thrown its first challenge back at them. The Odyssey was ordered to intercept, to buy time for the colonies to evacuate if possible. As they jumped through the outer sectors, strange energy waves shimmered around them. The phenomena they had seen before were now weapons, or warnings, being tested against humanity's courage and resilience. Whatever is coming, Lena said, they are not attacking randomly. They're testing our response, seeing how we act under pressure. The crew worked tirelessly. Mara rerouted power to shields, Raj monitored enemy trajectories, and Lena coordinated strategy with Earth's fleet as best as possible through delayed communication. The first encounters were terrifying. Energy blasts tore through space, obliterating automated defense drones in seconds. The Odyssey shuddered under pressure, systems flashing red as shields absorbed every strike. Yet humans adapted. Weapons were deployed, shields were strengthened, and for the first time, the attackers seemed to hesitate. One of the crew noticed a pattern in the attacks, an intelligence behind the destruction. "They're learning from us," Mara said, her voice a mixture of fear and awe. "They're testing us, like the outpost warned." Lena nodded. "Then we'll teach them something, too. Humans don't give up." Hours turned into days. The battle stretched across sectors, colonies being evacuated even as energy waves and ships tore through the void. Humanity's fleets were small, untested, and fragile. Yet for every attack, humans found a way to survive. Every loss was mourned, but lessons were learned quickly, tactics adjusted, and courage hardened. One night, the crew noticed a strange signal from the same coordinates of the alien outpost. It was faint, almost hidden in the chaos, but unmistakable. The Watchers, the ones who had warned humanity, were still observing. "They're giving us another clue," Raj said. "We need to follow it." Lena agreed. "Whatever is out there, we need to understand it before it's too late." The Odyssey veered toward the new coordinates, navigating through asteroid fields and energy storms that threatened to tear the ship apart. Each maneuver tested their skill and nerve, but the crew pushed forward, driven by the knowledge that lives hung in the balance. As they approached the source, a massive structure emerged from the darkness, a station or a weapon, ancient and terrifying. Energy radiated from it in waves, disrupting navigation and communications. The crew's instruments struggled to measure its scale. Lena realized it was not just a ship or a colony. It was a key to something larger, something the galaxy had left for those brave enough to claim it. Mara's hands flew over the controls. "If we can reach it, maybe we can use it to protect the colonies, to defend humanity." Lena's eyes narrowed. "Then we reach it. No hesitation. Humans survive by acting, by risking what others would not." The closer they got, the more dangerous it became. Energy waves slashed at the Odyssey, systems faltered, alarms screamed. Yet every crew member pushed on, working as one. Humanity's persistence, creativity, and courage were being tested, and in a way, the galaxy seemed to respect it. Finally, they reached the edge of the structure. Lena stared at it in awe. Ancient symbols, similar to the outpost, pulsed across its surface. A pattern emerged, a possible way to activate it, to use its energy. But it was a risk. One wrong move could destroy them. "This is it," Lena whispered. "This is our chance. Humanity has fought, learned, and adapted. Now we have to prove we can act when it matters most." Somewhere across the galaxy, Watchers observed. They had tested humans with signals, puzzles, and battles. And now, humans were about to face the ultimate challenge, reaching the key and using it to protect their fledgling civilization. The Odyssey shuddered again as energy waves assaulted them, but Lena gritted her teeth. Humans didn't stop. Humans didn't surrender. They pressed forward. And in that moment, the galaxy waited to see if Earth's children would rise to the challenge or be swept aside like dust among the stars. The ancient structure loomed ahead like a giant carved from black starlight. Lena Moore stared at it from the bridge of the Odyssey, her pulse racing. The alien puzzles they had found at the outpost had led them here, to what might be humanity's only hope against the approaching threat. Mara studied the readings. It's a weapon, or maybe a tool. I'm not sure. But its energy, it's unlike anything we've seen. If we can activate it, we could protect the colonies. Raj frowned. Activate it? How? We don't even know what it really is. One wrong move, and we're all dead. Lena's eyes narrowed. Humans survive because we take risks. Because we try when others won't. That's what got us this far. That's what will keep us alive. The shuttle carried Lena, Raj, and Mara toward the structure's massive entrance. Inside, the corridors were alive with light. Symbols glowed, responding to their presence. Walls shifted subtly, like the building itself was testing them. The air seemed charged with energy, humming with a rhythm the human brain could barely comprehend. This is like a maze, Mara whispered. But the symbols, they're guiding us. If we follow them, maybe we can reach the core. They moved carefully, decoding patterns and aligning panels. Each step was deliberate, and each solution brought new challenges. Puzzles that required intuition, logic, and courage. The structure seemed to respond not just to thought, but to intent. Humans could fail if they hesitated. Hours passed. Sweat dripped from foreheads. Fingers bled from working with alien interfaces. And yet, progress came. Humans were stubborn, relentless, and clever. Every obstacle was solved, every puzzle cracked, every trial met with human ingenuity. Finally, they reached the heart of the structure, a chamber filled with a pulsing energy sphere, floating above a pedestal. It radiated warmth and power, yet also danger. Lights flashed across the walls, projecting images of civilizations long destroyed and others that had survived only by understanding the same test humans were now facing. Lena stepped forward, feeling the hum of energy under her feet. The sphere seemed to react to her presence. Symbols lit up across the walls, forming a message in simple English. Worthiness is proven by sacrifice, courage, and unity. Only together can the key be claimed. Raj swallowed hard. Sacrifice, unity, are they asking us to risk ourselves? Yes, Lena said quietly. That's what humans do. That's what we always do. Mara reached for the control panel beneath the sphere. If this works, it could redirect energy, protect the colonies, maybe even stop the approaching threat. But I don't know what will happen to us if we activate it. Lena took a deep breath. Then we act anyway. Humans survive by acting, even when we're afraid. They worked together, hands moving in precise sequence, aligning symbols, connecting energy flows, following the ancient instructions. The sphere responded, pulsing faster, glowing brighter. The chamber shook as waves of energy surged outward. Lena felt the structure's immense power coursing through her, threatening to overwhelm them, yet somehow also guiding them. Almost there, Mara said. Just a little more. Suddenly, a wave of energy hit the chamber, knocking them off their feet. Lights flickered. Panels sparked. Lena realized the structure was testing them one final time. Fear gripped them, but determination held stronger. They rose, steadied themselves, and continued. With a final, coordinated motion, they aligned the last symbols. The sphere flared, releasing a brilliant pulse of energy that shot into space, invisible but immensely powerful. Through sensors, they saw it. Energy waves spreading across the galaxy, reaching the edges of human colonies, forming a protective barrier, redirecting attacks, and stabilizing vulnerable systems. They had done it. Humans had claimed the key. Exhausted, Lena, Mara, and Raj collapsed to the floor, staring at the sphere. It slowly dimmed, leaving behind a soft glow. The structure, it seemed, had accepted them. Humans had proven themselves worthy, not because they were the strongest, fastest, or smartest, but because they acted when others would hesitate, because they worked together, and because they refused to give up. Raj exhaled. We We actually did it. Lena nodded, eyes still on the pulsing core. We survived. We adapted. We became what the galaxy needed us to be. Mara smiled faintly. And yet, I feel like this is just the beginning. There's more out there. More challenges, more dangers. But for the first time, maybe we're ready. The Odyssey lifted off from the chamber, carrying its exhausted crew back to the stars. The galaxy had tested them, and humans had passed. Their colonies were safe for now, shielded by the power of the key, and humanity had earned a new place among the cosmos, even if the Watchers remained silent, unseen, and mysterious. Lena looked out at the endless darkness, feeling hope mixed with apprehension. The galaxy had more to teach, more to test, but humans had proved something essential. Courage, ingenuity, and unity could face even the greatest unknowns. Somewhere, far beyond human sight, eyes watched. And somewhere, unseen threats waited. Yet humans had acted. Humans had survived. And the galaxy had taken notice. The call was answered. The challenge met. The future was uncertain, but undeniably human. The galaxy was quiet for a moment, almost as if it was holding its breath. Humanity had claimed the key, protected its colonies, and survived trials that no other species had attempted. Yet Lena Moore knew the calm was fragile. The Watchers, unseen and unknown, were still out there, observing every human choice, every act of courage, every mistake. The Odyssey drifted toward Earth, carrying its exhausted crew. Raj monitored the sensors, making sure the protective waves from the key held. Mara sat silently, eyes fixed on the stars, still feeling the hum of alien energy in her veins. Lena stood at the bridge, staring out at the cosmos, her mind racing with everything they had faced, and everything that might come next. As they entered the solar system, communication from Earth filled the ship. Families and officials waited anxiously, relieved to hear the news. Colonies were safe, thanks to the energy pulse from the key. Humanity had survived its first true test in the galaxy. Cheers erupted across Earth, but Lena knew this was only the beginning. "We've done something extraordinary," she said quietly. "We've shown the galaxy that humans don't give up. That we act when others hesitate. That we survive when the odds are impossible." Raj nodded. "But there's still so much we don't understand. The Watchers, the threat, it's out there. Waiting." "Yes," Lena said. "And we'll be ready. Humanity learns fast. We adapt. And now, we have the key." The key had changed everything. It was more than a weapon. It was a symbol. A proof that humans, small and fragile as they seemed, could rise to challenges no one else dared face. It radiated a message across the stars. Humanity was persistent, clever, and courageous. Weeks passed as the Odyssey returned home. The crew became heroes, celebrated for their bravery, but they remained humble. They had faced the unknown, solved alien riddles, survived attacks, and unlocked a power far beyond their understanding. Yet they knew the galaxy would continue to test them. One night, as Lena walked alone on the observatory deck, a light flashed in the sky, subtle, deliberate. It was not a shooting star or a comet. The Watchers had acknowledged humanity. They had seen the courage, the ingenuity, and the unity that made humans unique. "They're watching us," Mara said softly, joining Lena. "And they're impressed." Lena smiled faintly. "We'll need to stay ready. The galaxy is vast, and the dangers are endless. But we now have proof. Humans are not just survivors. We're participants. We're a force that others cannot ignore." Raj joined them, looking up at the stars. "Do you think they'll call again?" "Eventually," Lena said. "And when they do, we'll be ready. Humans always are." Across Earth, scientists continued decoding data from the key, uncovering more secrets hidden in its energy. Engineers worked to replicate its effects, ensuring colonies could defend themselves. Humanity was stronger, smarter, and more united than ever before. Yet even as progress surged, the crew never forgot the lessons of their journey. Courage was not the absence of fear, it was action despite fear. Ingenuity was not just invention, it was problem-solving when survival depended on it. And unity was not simply working together, it was trust, sacrifice, and shared purpose in the face of the unknown. Then, far beyond the solar system, a signal pulsed. Subtle, brief, almost hesitant. The galaxy had spoken again. It was not a threat this time. It was a message, acknowledgement. Humanity had passed a trial no one else had attempted. And in the vast darkness of space, something unseen watched with interest, curious to see what humans would do next. Lena looked out at the stars, her heart swelling with hope. "We answered the call," she said. "And we survived. Not because we were the strongest, not because we were the fastest, but because we were human." Mara nodded, eyes reflecting the glittering cosmos. "And that's enough to make the galaxy take notice." Raj smiled, though weariness lined his face. "Then let them watch. Let them see what humans can do." As the Odyssey continued its journey toward Earth, the galaxy stretched endlessly ahead, full of dangers, wonders, and mysteries. Humanity had survived its first trial and earned a place among the stars. The Watchers remained unseen, the threats unresolved, and the future uncertain, but one thing was clear: humans would face it all. Boldly, cleverly, fearlessly. Because the galaxy had called. Humanity had responded. And now, nothing, not the darkness, not the threats, not the unknown, could stop them from reaching for the stars. And somewhere, deep in the void, the galaxy waited for what humans would do next.